Here's to you, loving daddy. I'm writing a piece by Anne Pollock's Queering Endocrine Disruption that argues that COVID-19 is a queer virus, and that queer people are the most adept at handling this moment in time. We're used to uncertainty, oppression. We're not fixed. If the virus were queer, you'd think it would bring us together. Funny enough, the solution to slow its spread is to practice social distancing, to be apart. We'll see how it turns out, but I think I have a point to make. This is one of the things I'll be keeping busy with in quarantine. I haven't gotten to meditation just yet. What will you do with your time in isolation? The following is the beginning of a project proposal for a growth mindset project required for my seminar in arts entrepreneurship class. I definitely wrote it more for myself, but I hope it resonates. During the COVID-19 pandemic, it is important that artists engage with the crisis. In extraordinary times like this, it is a responsibility of the artist to document their perspectives and express their thoughts and feelings, to inspire deeper understanding and empathy later when their works are shared. I've not always believed that an artist's work should engage with society, and that the isolated artist should be respected in their decision to work alone. Art demonstrates the human spirit. The human spirit does not exist in isolation, especially in this capitalistic digital age. It would be negligent to exclude the cultural context in our work that dictate our experiences. In reality, culture informs nearly everything we would provide ignorantly. In reality, culture informs nearly everything we would ignorantly consider personal, private, individual, etc. Through the responsibility to engage, artists may derive a sense of purpose or redefine the one which currently motivates them. Become confident mediators in spite of uncertainty and unrest, by creating metaphor representing new and great ideas, ironically addressing togetherness and human interdependence in artistic works during isolation may serve as catharsis for the artist and those the work is shared with. Artists should feel emboldened by their experiences. Embrace this exercise, their talents and abilities, even when they themselves are hopeless. I removed photos of you that I'd stuck underneath my mirror's frame. I sound like an unintelligent adolescent, like a pop song cliche when I think everything reminds me of you. How is it that just in 6 months bound together we'd become so entangled, dependent? It seems there is evidence of you, of us, in everything. I mourn the loss of you and the loss of any stability in the comfort of my own home in quarantine. I'm reading about startup business formation at my kitchen table. This chapter is on how to decide whether or not to persevere or pivot, to stay en route or to change the plan. We've pivoted. I remind myself that I shouldn't be taking business advice so personally and set the book down. I look from the text and look at the orchid on the kitchen counter. You liked orchids. One's just fallen, but the others seem prepared to bloom. As I'm cooking lunch, I try to clear my mind, silence thoughts of you. I play Debussy. Sorry, babe. But while cutting an onion, I remember the way I told you to cut them correctly. The top and the bottom first, then down the center to have two halves that are easier to peel. I begin to tear, but that's not because I'm sad. You text me, "How are you?" and I want to reply profoundly miserable, but I remind myself that I've decided to hate you now, pivot, so I ignore you. I haven't really spoken to anyone in 2 days. My parents check on me in the morning and before I go to sleep, but mostly I've felt silence. This morning I woke up Without You by Mariah Carey playing in my head. A live version where she's especially beautiful. I can't live if living is without you. I should have realized earlier in my life I'm living in a poorly written science fiction novel authored by a romantic schmuck with a shit sense of humor. We've sat down to have dinner and celebrate my birthday, but you're afraid. I try to make sense for you. If your friends won't let you go back into the studio because you've been to Westchester, then limit your exposure time. Go back now. Westchester being the hotbed of the virus in New York. I don't want to leave, but I'm trying to help. We have to be pragmatic. It's the apocalypse. As we're Ubering to White Plains, the only thing you say to me nervously is, "Isn't this close to New Rochelle?" The city of New Rochelle is under a lockdown. No one can leave their home. White Plains is closer, but I assure you we'll be safe at dinner. As much as I'd like to be, I'm not sure. No one is sure exactly how this virus spreads. I am certain that our being together right now is the most important thing to me, that in spite of everything, we're in love. We're protected. Am I the romantic schmuck? We had a beautiful day, until you got in your head that your beautiful roommate and studio mates weren't going to let you back into your apartment and workplace because you had been exposed. You became so nervous, you shut down, you couldn't look at me, talk to me, touch me. If you are really that afraid, you should have considered this might have happened before you bothered coming from Manhattan. I told you to call them, that you could get on the same page, but you wouldn't. You said, "It's too late." All my support was rejected. I couldn't believe how you were acting. We're all scared. Still, I hoped that we could enjoy one dinner together. I realize I can't manage your fear, that I shouldn't have to. I'm no longer capable of being disappointed, so I send you home after dinner, drive you to the train station, you cry, you're unable to speak. There's no conversation, I'm amazed. I break up with you. These are extraordinary times. I hear the primeval hum of cicadas. It is undoubtedly summertime. In spite of the lush valley, which all day has been warmed by the setting sun, despite the safety the hillside gleams, you abandon me. For your pathetic practice, in all the glory offered, you will not join me. We are not alone. Desperate subjects materialize from the tall grass around us and fall beneath. It is when your cameras flashed, used, they sink and disappear as if to return to shadow being that which has given them charm you adore. Each completed photograph capture brings you no closer to them, to satisfaction. You choose to busy yourself with perfunctory habit. As your love, greater subject, I, follows you, envying the attention they're given, the efforts you waste. I let on my disappointment, which begins to degrade all other sensation in me. I think, look at me, but you will not. I say, walk with me, but I'm disregarded. I wish you'd realize I need you now. You're nervous and work to keep yourself distracted, selfish. I begin to understand you are not strong for me. I am safety, this pasture. Our love is what is most precious right now and requires your contribution. You demonstrate your ignorance, your weakness in avoiding it. I grow tired of following you. I wake up and the intensity of my longing for you is so great it blows itself away. I'm left alone and relieved. This morning I woke up with Bonnie Tyler's "I Need a Hero" in my head. I think I'm starting to feel better, especially when I compare you to the type of man Bonnie is describing. I need that kind of man, a kill zombies for me kind of hero. A love until death and after. In graduate school, all the classes are online now. We video chat from our bedrooms, face the cast in blue light from our computer screens. I click through presentations, audio attached to each slide of my professor's voice. This is as dull as it sounds. I don't mean to complain because I know my problems aren't privileged ones, but I'm frustrated. I love school. They're shutting it down, sending all the students home. We had an exhibition canceled. I don't have access to my studio, equipment, or my peers. This is not how I envisioned the rest of my education. I have a job lined up at school to be the visual arts program director of their pre-college program during the summer. I'm sure the quarantine won't be lifted by the time the program is meant to start. It'll likely be canceled. I'll be let go before I've begun. I expected to have a partner. I do not grieve how things were, I grieve how they could have been. I've been staying up till 4 a.m. and sleeping past noon. I wear sweatpants and hoodies. I've been going for walks alone and smoking cigarettes. I see lots of neighbors out. I'm reminded we're all just shut in together. Everyone has to adjust. This is a new normal. This Wednesday morning is especially gray. I move ghost-like up a hill but feel a pebble in my sneaker. I stop, pop it off, shake it out, watch it bounce on the asphalt, and put my shoe back on. I'm reminded of a lyric. I'll put a pebble in my shoe and watch me walk. I can walk and walk. It's By My Side from Godspell. I know it because I played Jesus in the middle school production. This song has always been beautiful to me. It set the precedent of how a person should be committed to the one they love. They'd carry their partner's pain intentionally, joyfully, just to prove their devotion. Dread follows over me as I realize that we're unable to support one another. I'm not willing to carry your pain. You are not strong enough to carry mine. I find myself singing and I record it. Here we go.
Where are you going? Where are you going? Can you take me with you? For my hand is cold and needs warmth. Where are you going? Far beyond where the horizon lies, where the horizon lies, and the land sinks into mellow blueness. Oh, please take me with you. Let me skip the road with you. I can dare myself. I can dare myself. I'll put a pebble in my shoe and watch me walk. I can walk, I can walk. I shall call the pebble there. I shall call the pebble there. We will walk together. We will talk together about walking. There shall be carried, and when we both have had enough, I will take him from my shoes, singing, meet your new home. Then I'll take your hand. Finally glad that you are here by my side. by my side.